Boom, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy Deshaun, otherwise known as the microwavable cup holder. Welcome back to the podcast, or you guys can just call me Zaba, whatever. Welcome back to the podcast, y'all. We got another podcast planned today. Plenty of content in here. As per usual, the timestamps are down below if you prefer to just skip to a certain part. There's only a certain section you want to actually hear me talk about, because we do got a lot to go through today. So today's going to be a bit of a longer podcast. Going to be filled with some thoughts about some gaming going on. I'm going to tell a story about this entire day I had. And then we're going to we're going to talk about my the 10-song playlist of the podcast sent by my girlfriend. She sent a pretty fire playlist, and I have a lot of thoughts on here because there's only one song I had heard before. So it's not going to be as easy as last time I reviewed it, where I knew every song front to back. So we're going to get into it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's go ahead and get started. Hope you are all doing well. Let's go. So, let's start off with the gaming news going on recently. Not like any rumors or news or whatever. I'm just going to talk about some things that have been going on lately. I did end up buying the new Lego Star Wars game. I can't remember. I know it's not Lego Star Wars, The Complete Saga. That's the older one. I don't know, maybe it is. I don't remember the name of it. But the new game that has all 9 movies, or I guess episodes, all in one game. It's supposed to be this humongous Lego game. You know, it's supposed to be like the Lego Star Wars game. And I'll tell you what, from what I've played, and so far, I haven't played a crazy amount. What I've played, I absolutely hate it. I do not like it at all. It is terrible, and I'm extremely disappointed in it. And that's unfortunate, because I tried recording it at first to try to maybe make a video on it, and it was just, I was so bored and it was so monotonous. It didn't feel like what I wanted from a Lego game. It started off not too bad, because look, I have a lot of nostalgia for Lego games. I played a lot of them growing up as a kid, because I used to love Legos. I still like Legos. Like, you know, I can't wait to build sets with my kids and whatnot and let them play with it. But you know, Legos were a big part of me growing up, so I have a lot of nostalgia for that. So going back and playing this new game, like the Complete Saga is fantastic to me. And this game, I started off on episode 1. I was going to go 1 through 9. You can start on 1 or 4. One thing that kind of hit me off the bat was there's already like some DLC you can buy, like some character packs and whatnot. And they're not anything too expensive or whatever, but it has me a little worried, the fact that you already have extra content to buy. Like, I feel like you've made a Lego Star Wars game for the original, the trilogy, the original trilogy, for the prequels, for the Complete Saga, for the later games, and this is supposed to be the big game. I feel like everything should be included off rip. Like, this should be like the love letter to fans, the one all to be all. The way a lot of games have Game of the Year editions, where all the DLC that was made with the game is included, such as something like Borderlands Game of the Year, or the Handsome Collection for Borderlands. If you buy Borderlands the Handsome Collection, you get every piece of content in 2 and every piece of content from the pre-sequel. So you get all these things, and it's just included on the disc. It's not like Borderlands 2 and all its DLC, and then you can also buy skins. Like, everything's in there. So I was a little worried about that, but whatever. It's cool. It's only some like Mandalorian skins, some a solo story skins, which is fine, but I just feel like it should have already been included. And then so we get into the gameplay right off bat, and the opening cutscene they have when you load up the game every time is dope. It hypes you up a lot, because it shows all the characters, you know, from all the different movies, like all like different scenes in the movies, and then it all kind of shows them coming together in the shot, and you get kind of hyped. The voice acting, they're obviously voice acted characters. I don't know if the characters reprise their roles or not, but from what I heard, like Qui-Gon sounds like the usual generic Star Wars commentator from the Clone Wars series on Cartoon Network. He sounds like that. I don't remember if he sounded like that in the movie or not, but, you know, he sounds fine. Young Obi-Wan sounds fine. He also sounds like the voice from the animated series from Cartoon Network, so the voice acting wasn't really a problem. A little bit of the the little bit of dialogue I heard from one of the droids didn't sound like the droids, but I could be misremembering. But they sound very interesting and very unique. A Jar Jar sounds like himself, which is irritating, but that's how he is. But the gameplay is just weird. Like you start off and you get to fly your ship, and I'm like, oh, I get to fly the ship, and all you do is you just fly straight, and then you land, and then you start a little bit of the level, and I was like, okay, so start playing the game, and throughout the whole, it's not even like full usual levels. There's not that like stud meter where you collect all the little studs, which is like the currency, the money. You don't collect a certain amount in a level and it fills up, and then you get 100%, of the money bonus or whatever. That's not in the game. The usual mini kit hunting, like I was looking high and low in those levels, and there are no mini kits or secret mini games or secret areas to go to. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, because that's a huge part of it, is getting all the mini kits you can in the first playthrough. And then once you unlock more characters that are able to do like certain stuff, such as, people who have force powers can do this, and then Jar Jar can jump really high, and then you need a bounty hunter to open this door, and then you need an R2D2 variant to open this one. Stuff like that from the older games, that wasn't in there either. And I was like, okay, I guess the force powers are kind of cool. You can like basically pick up any object and you can throw it and whatnot. And I was like, all right, that's all right. I like the fighting is a lot more mechanically sound. There's a lot more combat and such, which is cool. There was no. I played I believe, what is the first 3 levels until I got to Naboo. There, I didn't build a single thing. There was nothing I built, and that's really disappointing, because that's a really big part of the games as well. Like when you go up to a pile of these Legos and they're kind of jumping around a little bit, you go up and you hold B or whatever button, and you watch your character build this thing, and it builds like a ship or builds a door, or even building a lever, like buildables. There was nothing. I didn't build anything, and I was like, well, that's really disappointing. That's a huge part of it. The money you get just goes towards upgrades, and I was like, okay, the UI, or those who don't know what UI means, the user interface, is so packed. There's so many things that you can spend money on, and I don't feel like it was laid out very well. There isn't a hub world where in the complete saga you had the cantina. You go in the rooms of the episodes, and you go in the room of the level you want to play, and then there's a character creator, and then the store, and there's not that. So you just have this like little drop down menu you can pull up at any time, and it's just full of like where you're gonna buy your characters, where you're gonna buy your ships, your vehicles, your upgrades, like all these different things. And there's like upgrades for only Jedis, and upgrades for only bounty hunters, and upgrades for only heroes and villains, and then there's upgrades for everybody, like movement speed. You can sprint in the game, and it was just all this stuff that was just like overwhelming, because it's just kind of all together. Now granted, you can't just start spending it on everything. You obviously have to play through the episodes and unlock the chance to buy them, like in other games, I'm assuming. But it was so overwhelming, and you don't, like, I found a couple of these, like, they kind of look like, they were like, I think they're supposed to be the red bricks that are in all the other games, except for a couple, like Indiana Jones had the parcels. But the red bricks are how you unlock cheats, then you buy the cheat, and that's how you get them. So I collected a couple of those, and you have to spend those and money to upgrade some of those later upgrades. So I was like, okay, I guess I can kind of get on board, but the level was just short, and like I progressed through it so quickly, and when I was fighting like the droids, I saw like damage numbers and their health bars showing up, and I was like, oh, okay. So obviously you're gonna be able to like increase your saber damage and whatnot, and that's cool and all, but it's not a tradition. It's not the traditional way of playing where you have a level, you have a set path to go on, but there's all these other side paths you discover, and like little puzzles you have to do to get into certain areas to get all the mini kits or to get some Easter eggs and whatnot. There isn't that, so I was really disappointed, because it's like this, like there's a part where you go into like Jar Jar's homeworld, and it's like this big dome, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go find stuff in here. And walking around, I was like breaking every single breakable thing in all these rooms to end up finding nothing but just getting some money. And I was like, okay. There was like a couple secrets here and there, and I was like, eh. But it wasn't anything like we're used to. Like, there's no mini kits to find. And it was just this big room where you could just go around kind of doing stuff. You could go up to other characters and talk to them, and they give you a little bit of dialogue, but there's no. I don't know. I was super disappointed. It doesn't feel like the normal Star Wars, like Lego games, which isn't a big deal, but it didn't feel like an improvement. It felt like it was just different. And I didn't like it, and it was a huge disappointment and a huge flop for me. Maybe I'll try to go back and play it, but when I go exploring in a Lego game, I want to be building stuff. I want to be finding secrets. I want to be unlocking characters. I want to fight interesting enemies, and I didn't do that at all. I didn't really enjoy my time playing it so far, but I don't know. Maybe I'll play longer and update you guys. But yeah, unfortunately, the Lego Star Wars, the new game that just came out, I was pretty excited for. Not gonna lie, was a huge disappointment, and I'm very sad that it is the way it is. Anybody who has nostalgia for the older games and are hoping it's a big collection of a game like that, it's not the same game. I would probably say maybe try it when it goes on sale. Um, but right now, I'll tell you what, it's not worth full price. I'm pretty upset that I paid full price for it. It's a waste of money. Moving on in the gaming sphere still, been playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, the new Borderlands game. I put in probably like, excuse the car outside, I probably put in 30 hours or so on it, and it's fantastic. I love the game so much. If you're a fan of Borderlands 3 and Dungeons and Dragons, it's the perfect mix. I like the classes. I like the skill trees, surprisingly, though they're not as, I would say, not as interesting as the older, as like Borderlands 3 skill trees with all these different like action skills and whatnot, and all these abilities and all these really cool ways you can build your character. It's not quite as deep. There's really only one or maybe two ways to go for each class. And obviously you can dual class and mix up what you dual class with, but it's not quite deep enough for me. The story was dope. The graphics are amazing. The humor in it and writing was way better. So it's definitely a really good game. I really, really, really enjoyed my time playing it, but I don't know. I kind of miss having three skill trees per class rather than dual classing and having two. And I can't even fully go into the other, but they already have DLC coming out, and I have the season pass, so I'm gonna be playing all their DLC. So hopefully they can bring us a lot more content. But I feel bad for anybody who bought the game and was expecting to get like hundreds of hours. Like I guess you can get that from this game. The Chaos Trials one are cool, but I don't know. Maybe if this is probably a bunch of nonsense to people who don't play Borderlands. So I don't know. Maybe one day I'll like make a video talking about it, or make videos on the Borderlands games or something like that. But it's a cool game if you're able to buy it, and just want something like Dungeons and Dragons style that has guns and a bunch of loot. Then go ahead and give it a try. I highly advise. I recommend it. Now I wanted to kind of get into like a little bit of a story time. So if you enjoy story times and just kind of talking, here we go. If you don't, you might want to skip through it. It's a pretty long day. This is about this past weekend I had. I went with, the plan was my family and I, at least all like the boys, we were gonna go to a lot of for a lot of them it was their first Warriors game. For me, my dad, my best friend, Mr. Hashimoto, yeah, it was our like second, or like my dad's like fifth or something Warriors game. So we had a pretty huge day planned ahead of us. I didn't expect it to be as big as it was going to be, and to do as much as we did all in one day. So we'll start right from the top. I went to work the previous night at 11. I woke up at like 11:30 at night to go into work at midnight. So, I was getting ready for my day. I finished my shift, got off at 8:30 in the morning, and I called my cousin. I was supposed to take a nap before I went to pick him up because I had to drive all the way to Sac. We were going to the Golden One Center, which is the Sacramento Kings Arena. We were going to go there and watch the Warriors play them. So it was my first time getting to drive from Sac, from where I live. It's like about an hour and a half, maybe a little bit more, and I haven't ever driven that long or that far before. So I was a little nervous, but it's a pretty easy drive from where I live to there. I could basically do it. Like if somebody said, okay, drive me to Sac right now, I could probably do it. It was cool. So I was going to go pick up my cousin, and I was like, for sure, hey, you know what? I'm so excited, so jazzed to do this. I'll come pick you up. Maybe we'll go get some food. Then we'll head out there because we're supposed to meet at some restaurant at like 3:15 or whatever. So, I don't know why I wanted to leave so early. I was just really excited. So I was like, yeah, let's just go. I don't even need a nap. Let's go for it. He's all right, cool. So I go, I pick him up, find out we have an extra ticket. So I called up Mr. Hashimoto. He was not, well, he was doing something, but I don't want to spoil what he was doing because maybe he's keeping that on the hush. Emoto. Yeah. Huh? I was like, hey, what are you doing today? He was, oh, nothing. And I was like, you want to go to Warriors game? He's like, yeah, I'm down. So I ended up going and picking him up, and we set off for SAC. And man, it was a blast of a drive. I loved driving with those dudes. We were like listening to just a lot of Michael Jackson and rap and stuff like that, chilling, singing our hearts out, some Isley Brothers and whatnot. So we were already like losing our voice just because, Michael Jackson songs just hit different when you know them and you're in a car with two other people who know them. So, you're gassed, bro. You're like, yeah, let's go. Someone else is singing with us. So we're like screaming at the top of our lungs, giving each other certain parts of the song. Seem like, all right, yeah, kill it, Simeon. And he does what he does. All right, go, Moto. And then, he does his thing. And then it was fun, but it was a cool drive. I was so excited and jazzed to have like two of my favorite people in the same car with me. My car was running great. The music was fantastic. I was just enjoying myself so much the drive there. So rather than getting there at 3:15 like we were supposed to, we got to Sacramento like 1. So we got there like 2 hours early. The game's at 6. So we were planning on going to a restaurant at 3:15, eating, going to the arena early, and maybe going to see the players warm up or something. But yeah, we go do our thing. We get there at 1. I call my dad. I'm like, yo, Dad, we're already here. He's like, yo, you're hecka early. What the heck are you doing? I was like, yeah, I know, but I was just so excited. So we just came over. So they were at a zoo. They had gone over the weekend. It was for my dad's birthdays, by the way. Again, happy birthday, Dad. It was on April 1st. If y'all can say happy birthday, Ice, in the comments, that'd be dope. But yeah, they had been there over the entire weekend, and this was Sunday, was the day of the game. So we just headed over Sunday because all of us work, and we couldn't just go over the weekend. So we went. And he's like, yeah, well, we're at the zoo if you want to come meet us there. And I was like, nah, I don't really want to spend more money, like, going to the zoo and whatnot. Like, you know what? We'll just find something to do around the city. We'll explore. He's like, all right. So we had 2 hours to kill. And it was pretty nice weather. It was, like, a little breezy, very sunny, a little hot, but nothing too crazy. So we ended up going to this park. We found this really nice park. Like, it was really nice. Nice kind of neighborhood to grow up in. And it was weird because I don't know if it was just... I don't know, maybe it was just the day, but it seemed like all the colors just of the environment, like the grass was so green, the sky was so blue, like the colors on the playgrounds were so like vibrant and stood out so much to me that it was just it just felt like we were in some just brand new made neighborhood. It wasn't anything like very high, like income, or very low. It was like a nice, mid-tier, or like not mid-tier. I'm not like ranking neighborhoods, but like, mid-income level area. There was like all these little kids playing basketball. It was cool, and they just ended up playing half court so we could shoot on our half because I had a ball in my car. So we're shooting around, we're listening to these little kids, and it's so funny because these kids I guess they were all like just starting middle school, maybe in their last years of elementary school, and they look, they're young. They're all like short and they're all young playing basketball. But bro, they was talking like they was adults playing basketball. One of them gets fouled and he curses him out. Someone makes a bad call and he starts cursing him out. Like, bro, it was hilarious, man. Them little kids are killing me. Then a couple of them like, hey, you guys want to play? And I was like, heck nah, I'm out here in some white forces that my girl customized. So I'm really not trying to mess those up. So, none of us were really in nice basketball clothes anyway. We weren't trying to get all sweaty and gross before we go to the game. We have a whole day ahead of us, and it was starting to get hotter. So we're like, nah, we're cool. Just shoot around. So we're shooting around. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. We're shooting around, chilling, doing our thing. I start talking to one of the kids like, so, what's your favorite team? Who do you think's going to win the finals? Just being cool as we're shooting around. The little kids were really cool. Had good personalities. I think they're gonna, you could tell they were raised right, but you could also tell they were raised. They ain't raised by no punks. Them was just a group of just a lot of little black kids. A lot of them darker than me. You could tell they mama and they dada or whoever the heck raising them don't be playing around because, they don't seem like some little idiots. They look like they're just some good kids. Of course they That looked like they'd probably be getting into trouble all the time at home and maybe be doing some stuff, but nothing too bad. It was kind of funny. But it was cool talking to them, hanging out, and then we're like, all right, well, we're getting kind of tired and sweaty, so what do you guys want to do now? We only ended up burning an hour at that park, and I was like, well, crap. I don't know. You guys want to go get ice cream? It's hecka hot. Like, we'll go to a Baskin Robbins. I wanted a Reese's Sundae so bad, bro. I wanted one so freaking bad. So I'm like, cool, let's do it. So we go. Just we end up going to this Baskin Robbins like 15 minutes away, and obviously I don't know Sac, so I'm like I have to look up the address, look up where one is, and Google map my way there. So we end up going to this Baskin Robbins, and we couldn't find it. Like it said, it was in the parking lot. We could not find it. And then we finally go around this corner, and it's like barely even like visible. Like you have to come at it from a certain street to really see it. So like, oh, okay, we go in there, and y'all, this was the most ghetto, run down, beat up. We don't have nothing Baskin Robbins I have ever been to in my life. We show up, and in each of like the freezers where you can look at all the flavors, they're missing at least like four per freezer, like probably more than that flavors of ice cream. So we're sitting there waiting. The ladies are like, what can I get for you guys? And we're like, I'm like, can I get a Reese's Sundae? Like, sorry, all we have is what's out here in these freezers. I was like, so we only have this. They're like, yeah. I was like, no toppings, no nothing. They're like, nope. So I was like, I felt like they were low key just lying because they were probably they didn't really want to get up and do anything. One of them was pregnant. The other one was just young. It seemed like she didn't really want to be there. I'm not trying to like talk crap or be like, oh, they should have been, ready to take my order and do whatever. I'm not trying to get all hyphy and act all like full of myself. Like, whatever, I get it. They're probably just trying to chill that day. So they're probably like, we're gonna hide all the crap in the back. We ain't pulling none of this out. People want ice cream, you getting a scoop of ice cream and you on your way. So I was like, I guess I'll just get a scoop of cookie dough. They had some like ice cream cakes in their freezer, but that was literally all they had. So we're chilling in there. Some lady comes in. She's like, can I get this cake? And the lady's like, I don't even know if we have that, but I can check in the back. And then the other lady's like, well, what flavor is it? I'm looking for this one. She's like, yeah, we don't have it. And he's like, okay, well, what about this one? We don't have it. I'm like, you know what? Y'all probably have it in the back. They're like, so she's like, all we have is what's in there. And I don't even think the lady looked in there. I think she was just so upset. She just walked out. But, whatever. Me, Simeon, and Hashimoto, we weren't really tripping. We were just like, we'll take a scoop of ice cream, just chill in the car, eat it, having a ball still, doing our thing. And then, it's getting close to them coming out of the zoo. So we're like, all right, we'll just go head over there. And it was really cool because, like, I think it was called, like, the Sac Zoo or something like that. But it was a really interesting thing because it was, like, there's, like, their regular zoo. But there wasn't like huge parking, it wasn't like your typical zoo where like you have this huge parking lot and then you just had the zoo. It was like there was really like no parking lot really. There was like a couple, but it was like the zoo and then like you'd have the street kind of breaking it off and there'd be another part of the zoo and there's all these like streets and like this isn't like driving on like there's the zoo's property. This is like regular streets are breaking up. So they broke up the zoo in multiple parts all around. And next to the zoo was like these huge parks and like these huge fields of grass where there's like a little family reunion going on. This family playing like some kind of interesting version of like flag football kind of thing. They kind of have that going on. And then, you have people like throwing frisbees and stuff like that. There was just this whole like, it felt like an entire outdoor just vibe, just like a cool place where you could just come take your kids and basically do anything out in that park. Like you could probably fly drones out there. You could have a real football game. The only thing they didn't really have out there, and maybe it's just because I wasn't looking in the right place, they did not have a basketball court, and that's whack. There probably is one somewhere, but it was still kind of whack. So, me and the boys, we got there, of course, early again. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I'll go park over here. We'll just go hang out in the park a little bit. So we go out there. We sit down, and it was weird because, Laren was like, oh, look, there's a squirrel. And I was like, oh, bro, what? There is a squirrel. That's crazy. And then we, like, look away. Laren's like, bro, now there's 3. And I'm like, oh, what the heck? There is 3. And then we look away, and, we're chilling. And he's like, oh, now there's, like, 7. And, dude, there were squirrels everywhere in that park. It was crazy. So we're being stupid. We're, like, making voiceovers for the squirrels, They And we're like, oh, look at that guy. He's like, oh man, I hate doing the stupid job. Just stuff like that. Just being dumb. That's what Laren and I always do. That's kind of like our humor thing. We're just dumb. So we're just chilling. We chill there for like 20 minutes or so. The boys come out the park, and the plan is all the boys who are going to the game are going to stay in Sac, and all the girls who are obviously not going to the game because they don't care, they're all just going to drive home. So we all separate. I pick up my cousin Tavion and my brother Genesis because we needed, my dad only had so much space in his car. So I picked them up, and we're like, all right, cool. Well, we're going to head to the restaurant now. We're going to eat, and we're going to chill. So we end up going there, and we got there. Our reservation was at 3:15, and we got there like 3:40 maybe, and that was kind of cheeks because, yeah, we completely missed our reservation. So I don't know if I think maybe my dad just didn't want to go. He's probably too excited to go to the game. None of us were super hungry. We were kind of just chilling. So, we're like, well, we'll just park in our parking garage that we had like our little reserve spots in the parking garage or whatever. We'll park and then we'll go to the arena, and we're waiting on our parking tickets for my stepmom to text us the codes because she's the one who like bought everything all together, so she has all the codes. So we're waiting, and we literally drove around the Golden One arena like in a lap, probably 8 or 9 times. It was crazy. We just kept driving around and around and around. Then we would sit at this one part outside the arena, and we waited for like 15 minutes. Then we would be driving around and around and around, and we're all like, oh my god, where the heck are the freaking parking passes? It took us probably like, I would say maybe an hour to get of just pointless, useless driving, because there's nowhere to just park there. It's like in the middle of downtown. At least what I think is downtown. I don't know. It looked like any old downtown city area. So anywhere to park, you have to pay for. So, we're just like, whatever. I guess we'll just burn up a lot of gas driving in this stupid circle. Eventually, we end up getting the code. And then we can't even find the garage because I'm following my dad the whole time. His Google Maps or whatever the heck he was doing, his maps was taking him to the complete wrong area. And so I put it in my maps, and I got us close, but not quite where it is. Then, as we were driving by, like, I saw a yellow light, and I was like, oh, crap, I kind of have to run. I'm, going too fast to just stop. But Dad was too far back to just stop or to just run through it. So we get separated, and I'm on the phone with him like, oh, sorry, Dad. He's like, oh, it sucks, too, because I literally see the garage. You just passed it. And I was like, oh, my God. So I had to do one extra lap and go in the garage. Fine, whatever. We finally got our parking. We parked. We're all like, oh, my God, we finally made it. Oh, my God, we're actually going to go see a game. Getting all excited and whatnot. We show up. There's literally no line for us to get in the arena. At least the entrance we went in. There was lines in other entrances. The one we went in, no, we just straight walked through a little security thing, dude. Did our tickets, and all right, enjoy the game. We're like, oh, that was easy. So it's cool. So we go in there, and we go like midway where the court is just to see if they're warming up, and of course they are shooting around. And I kept looking around all my cousins' faces because they're literally like, oh my god, there's literally the NBA players are like right there. They're like. That feeling of when you first see them, it was crazy. So, they're doing their thing where they're shooting. We see like Jordan Poole out there shooting around and whatnot. We're getting hyped over all the people seeing there. Gary Payton II. And then we go get our seats. And the game was amazing, man. We smacked the Kings. We were having so much fun. There were so many like dope plays to get hyped for. The area we were sitting in, because we got our seats kind of broken up. We didn't buy like one row. We bought like seats that were close together where we could still see and like say what's up to each other, but it'd be like a little not far, but it's not like we're all sitting shoulder to shoulder. We're not like that. So we asked the dude, hey, if the game starts and these seats aren't filled, can we just and he's like, yeah, sure, why not? So we're like, all right, bet, because there's 9 of us at this. There is 9 of us at this freaking game. So we're sitting there, the seats don't fill up, so we all sit shoulder to shoulder, just chilling, and then. There was a couple groups of people whose seat we were taking up, but they saw that we were just one family. They're like, oh, no, it's cool. Keep the seat. We'll sit behind you or sit in front of you because it's a Kings game. The Kings aren't filling up their seats, So it's like, even if you don't have your seat, you can sit right behind where it is and it's open. It's funny. I mean, it filled up decently, but it's a Kings game. The Kings, people are really just there for the Warriors. There was some Kings fans. There was like some chick there who obviously doesn't watch the Kings like that because she got excited for every play, even when it was against the Kings. So she would celebrate it first, and her boyfriend would like whisper something. She's all, "What? Boo!" You know. But who cares? You do not need to know the sport hecka to go to a game. If you just want to go and just, you know, she's just getting into it. And if she don't watch it all the time, big deal. She's just enjoying herself. I don't mind it. But you know, I'm talking hecka crap about the Kings. I'm talking a whole mess of crap. And I'm surrounded by half Warriors fans and half Kings fans, so it's a pretty good mix. The Kings fans were getting pretty sad because they were getting smacked, and it was just a ball. But, you know, after that, we go back to the parking garage. Great game. We beat them by like 15 or something stupid. We get back. I try to start my car. My car is dead. And I was like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. So my dad gives me a jump. Gives my battery a jump. Car starts right up. We're good. No check engine light or anything. So I'm all right, time to make the drive to Sac. So we drive to Sac. We hit a certain city on the way back. I'm not trying to name the cities. People will be like, oh, okay. So based on his story, he lives here. So we end up driving back, and we probably, I would say, probably an hour, 10 minutes in, start getting tired. Because mind you, I've been up since 11:30 the previous night. I have not slept yet. It's like 10:30 at night. So I have been going on almost 24 straight hours of sleep, long driving, yelling my heart out in the car, getting tired, then playing basketball, driving hecka, screaming like crazy at a game, and now I have to drive home at night, and I'm still on like no sleep. I don't know how I didn't pass out. I was just having too much of a fun day. So we end up getting to the city, and I'm like, okay. My cousin's next to me. He got plenty of sleep, so he's like, if you start getting tired, let me know. We'll pull off, you know. And a couple times on the drive, like, bro, I didn't know how uncomfortable you could get sitting in one car seat the whole time. Like, bro, my butt cheeks were so uncomfortable. So every time I'm trying to like adjust, find comfortable, I would kind of like start feeling like the bumps a bit. Like, oh crap, like, well, I guess I can't adjust myself because every time I try to get comfortable, I start like swerving a little bit. And I was like, oh, I don't want anybody in the car to think I'm falling asleep. Like, I'm just super freaking uncomfortable. But eventually, I do start getting tired. And then all it took was one time where I was like, kind of, like, just a tiny bit started falling asleep, just a little bit. And I was like, oh, you know, my cousin's like, you good? I was like, yeah, no, I'm definitely too tired to keep driving. And I was like, tell you what, there's a 7-Eleven up here I know of. We'll go there. I'll pull over. We'll switch. And then you'll drive us home. He's like, all right. And I was like, actually, you know what? We're all super hungry. We'll just go to the McDonald's a little bit farther up, and then we'll be chilling. He's like, okay, cool. So, because, bro, we were planning on going to Raising Cane's out there. I've never been to Raising Cane's. None of us have, except for Hashimoto. And I was like, yes. And then, since my car died, I was like, we're just going to drive straight home. We're not going to risk it at Raising Cane's. Thank God we didn't. Because we got to McDonald's. We got in the drive-thru. We ordered, it's like 5 McChickens and 5 just burgers. It's just lit. We're like, yeah, let's go. We finally got food. The lady's like, okay, well, it's going to take some extra time for the chicken to cook. Will you guys pull up front? We're like, yeah. So, and Simeon's like, don't turn the car off. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right, because it'll die. So I go and I park, and we're sitting there, get the cars on for like 10 minutes. The cars just, we're chilling. Then all of my lights, like the check engine light, like all those lights, all come on at once at the same time. And I was like, oh, crap. And my car starts turning off, so I just turn my car off. I'm like, the car's dead. And they're like, crap, bro. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Excuse me. I won't go into all the details about how we tried to get a jump, but nobody there spoke English, so we couldn't ask anybody to give us a jump. We originally called a tow truck, then we called my dad, and he ended up coming over there, so we canceled the tow truck. All this crap. Basically, all this stupid crap. It took us 45 minutes to get out of that McDonald's. It sucked. We tried jumping the car, didn't work. My dad showed up. He tried jumping the car, didn't work. Then the jump did work. The car had power, but the key wasn't turning all the way, so that sucked. All this crap, and I'm like, okay, it has to, like, I don't know what's going on with my car. It's running. It was running fine all day. So then I end up, my dad's like, I'll take your cousins and your friend home. Not a big deal. You just go home. And he was going to follow me the whole way home. Shout out to my pops for doing that. It's a real one. And so I start driving home, and my headlights are flickering. My brake lights and whatnot behind me are flickering. And I'm like, dude, please, car, just make it home. It's like a 20-minute drive. please just make it. I'm awake now because I was sleeping. I was so frustrated. My car being broken down. I slept in the car, and luckily, my cousins and my boy Hashimoto, they understood. They're like, you know what, bro? Sean's been through a lot today. He's been going on over 24 hours of sleep now. Like, it's all right, bro. Just take it now. We'll let you know when that your dad shows up and whatnot. So I'm like, yeah, y'all just eat the food, bro. I don't even care anymore. I was so pissed, but I end up making it home. By the grace of God, I end up making it home. Barely, and park the car, say bye to my dad and my cousins and whatnot. And I'm like, now I'm stressed and I'm tired because I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have to replace the battery or the alternator, and I'm not trying to spend money on all that right now after I just spent all this money on gas. It was like almost $100 to fill up my tank, and I used up more than half this whole trip, like all this stupid crap. So I'm like, dude, I'm really not trying to spend more money on all this stupid crap. So I call my mechanic, and he comes over. I had to go to work 2 days without the car and walk back. Whatever, not a big deal. Shout out to X for giving me a ride to work. Call the mechanic. I'm like, yeah, will you check out the car? He shows up. And I was like, oh, God, what is he going to say? He literally, one of the wires that's on the battery was just loose. So he hammers it a little bit, and he tightens one of the screws. He's like, all right, you're good. Your car's good. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me, dude? That whole night happened just because of that. That is so stupid. I'm so mad. But I'm also so happy because that means I didn't have to pay anything. I ended up paying the mechanic like $20 just for coming out because he's so freaking cool. He came to my house, looked at the car. I love my mechanic. He's dope. If you live in the city or in the county that I live in, if you know what I'm talking about. If you live there, let me know if you need a mechanic. I know a super dope guy. He's dope. He's amazing. I love the guy. Anyway, get the car fixed. And bro, that day I went to bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning that day because right when I got home, bro, I went to the bathroom. I'm not gonna lie, I went to the bathroom. I was just tired. I think I ate a little bit, and I was like, whatever, dog. Thank God I had that night off. I slept for 12 and a half hours after that, and I was just chilling. So that was quite a day. Thank you for listening to the story time. We haven't even gotten to the rest of the podcast. We got 2 more things to talk about, so bear with me, everybody. I'll try to kind of speed through this last little bit for you guys. But it's a podcast. It's supposed to be long. I have a feeling you guys probably don't mind that much. Anyway, so literally right before recording this podcast, apparently Tekashi 6ix9ine is coming back. And I don't know if it's an album or if he's just dropping a song, but he posted this little like trailer crap thing on his Instagram saying April 15th, today at the time recording, it's the 8th. So on April 15th of 2022, this man is coming back. And I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it, I was contemplating and thinking to myself, like, did Tekashi really have like his era? And he did have a couple years where he was like the thing everybody would bring up or whatnot. He was kind of like the villain of rap. Like, nobody really liked him. But it was weird because you can enjoy his songs ironically, like the same way you would if you're hanging out with your homies and you put on like Barbie Girl or something like that, or some kind of like jokey song that's like you're listening to it as a joke, but there's good elements of the song that make it a good song, but it's mainly to get your friends to be like, oh my God, bro, turn this off. Or they join in, you guys are having fun because you're just being dumb. It's like he makes those kind of songs. So there was a time where there was a couple songs that I was like, I used to kind of mess with. I would like rap them with like my homies. Obviously, we didn't know what the freaking heck he was saying. All his lyrics are just stupid anyway. So it's not like it's intricate stuff you have to memorize. You're just being dumb. And it just has a lot of energy and screaming. So, we would like listen to it ironically and have fun. But he's coming back. So I don't know. I know his last album he put out, I think it was like Tattletale or something like that. That flopped hard. Apple Music and Spotify and whatnot didn't even put it out. I think it might have been on their app, but they didn't advertise it at all. And I remember there's this whole thing where he was like, oh, all these companies don't want to even advertise my stuff because they hate me, da-da-da. And yeah, he fell off the face of the earth. So apparently he's coming back. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. He's not going to make any, like... He's not going to be... all of a sudden he's going to come out as a great rapper. I'm not even going to talk about, was his snitching justified? I'm not even going to get into his whole snitching thing. I feel like that's been talked about by enough people. You can feel how you want to feel about it. If you want a quick 2 cents on my opinion, you don't snitch, basically no matter what. However, if what he's saying, which his point was, all these dudes were stabbing me in the back, and you want me to be loyal to these guys, like they were snaking me the whole time. So I guess I kind of get it if you're getting snaked like crazy and now you're getting in trouble. Like who are you supposed to be loyal to? But why would you put yourself in that position in the first place? Like you're going to jail for all these different things. That it's not like the police were like, you're annoying, so you're under arrest. Like you're obviously doing stuff. So I don't know, and that's also his fault because you just don't have the right team around you. So I feel like you still shouldn't snitch, but you shouldn't be completely loyal to people who are just stabbing you in the back, who aren't even loyal to you. But you still don't snitch at the end of the day. Like I could be at a park and me and some dude could be fighting. Like we hate each other and we're fighting. If the police show up and they're like, "Hey, what's going on?" Nothing, officer. We're just having a little bit of playing around, messing around, because it's not worth throwing another person in jail for something quick like a little Scrabble or whatever. But yeah, if I found out some dude was like doing stuff with kids or whatever, or anything like that, yeah, you're going to jail quickly. I don't care. I'll snitch you out. You could be my best friend and come up to me like, yeah, bro, I've been texting this minor. Yeah, that's you're like talking to kids and whatnot. I'm gonna call you out on that. And the police ask me, hey, is he talking to kids? Oh, would I snitch or would I try to help them find help, like counseling and whatnot? That's tough. That's tough. I don't even want to think about it because all my closest friends would not be doing that, so I don't even have to worry about that. But if I found out one of my friends was really doing some really sus stuff, like maybe I try to find him help. But like, especially if I had a friend who came up to me like, yeah, bro, I raped this girl. Nah, dog, we're not doing that. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't even go through the justice system. Still, maybe I just probably get you jumped or something. I don't know. I'm not even gonna go into that. That's a whole can of worms. Anyway, as per usual, at least now, I requested a 10-song playlist. I'm sorry, I didn't post it on my Instagram. I forgot. I ran out of days and I forgot. But I did ask my girlfriend. She pulled through. She made a 10-song playlist. I have all the names of the songs here and my reactions to the songs. Most of them I hadn't heard before, so it was very cool. But let me just say real quick, she is so freaking good at making playlists that seem like it just flows together. It's so connected and all makes sense. So shout out to the love of my life for making this amazing. She's fantastic. Anyway, first song was "What More Can I Say" by, I don't know if it's NX Worries or if the group's called No Worries. I saw that group is Anderson .Paak and some dude named, I think, Knowledge, but it could be, I'm assuming it's Knowledge. It looks like he replaces O's with the lowercase x, was like his shtick. So I'm just gonna go by No Worries. But bro, let me tell you, man, that song was pretty dope. Anderson .Paak is, I don't know why I slept on him for so long. He is really like one of the most underrated R&B like dudes from our from like our generation, like his voice and the way he makes music and the stuff he's always involved in are always fire to me. I didn't really listen to him until Silk Sonic, and now every time I hear him, I'm like, I dig it. So it was a really good song. I never heard of the group. Anderson .Paak, like I said, is a legendary voice, and it had a nice melody. The overall song was good. There weren't, I mean, it's not like rap where I'm listening for some crazy bars. Lyrics are gonna hit me, but it was nice, smooth, and a nice little enjoyable song. It's one that I don't know, maybe I'll throw it in a playlist or something, but it's just more just like a chilling time, a chilling little vibe, so it was cool. Next song she sent me was "Knocks Me Off My Feet" by Stevie Wonder, and I got a bit of a confession to make, don't kill me. I have not listened to any Stevie Wonder other than "Isn't She Lovely" and "Part-Time Lover." Those are the only songs I've heard from Stevie Wonder. I know people are like, Stevie Wonder is one of the GOATs, and especially as a black man, you should know Stevie Wonder. Like, I get it. I didn't grow up on it. People who, like, the adults I grew up with and around did not play Stevie Wonder. They played pretty much Michael Jackson and rap. So, I'm sorry, like, if I didn't grow up on it, how am I supposed to know? But now that I know more and whatnot, I'm going to go through his stuff, but this knocks me off my feet. Jesus Christ, this man is freaking talented. This song alone makes me want to go through all his stuff. It's crazy. What are some of the notes I wrote listening to it? I literally wrote, good Lord, this song sounds good. I said it's just chill, wonderful voice. Why haven't I heard this earlier? And I especially love the drum in the song. It just, that's what my ear kept gravitating to, is the drum part of the beat and whatnot. But his voice is fantastic. The lyrics are cool, like good enough to learn, but nothing that's gonna like change your whole life. It was just a really cool vibe. I'm probably gonna say a lot, unfortunately. I'm sorry in advance, but it was just a really great immersive song that I added to a playlist. I literally made a playlist called Bops for the Soul, which is going to be a bunch of songs like that now. And there's another song that I added from this playlist that she sent me in there, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But it was a great song. I absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for sending me that. Now I need to go through all of Stevie Wonder's crap, because if he's making music like that, woo, girl, let me tell you. The next song was I Been by Ari Lennox, and I had not heard any Ari Lennox ever. I am really like out of tune with today's R&B and hip hop and stuff like that. So I be sleeping on everybody nowadays. But I did recently listen to the what is it? The D-Day mixtape thing. DJ Drama, J. Cole, or in Dreamville. What that whole mixtape thing, like Gorilla Grill's D-Day mixtape crap, whatever the heck it is. And she did a song on there where she sampled frickin' Hey. Oh gosh, frickin' Hey, what did she sample? Oh my goodness, man. What the heck? Oh, I'm Going Down by, I think that's Mary J. Blige. Maybe? I think. And she freaking murdered that crap. She freaking murdered that crap. And she murdered some other song on there. I think, I can't remember what the sample was for that too. But I liked everything I heard from her on that mixtape, and that was the first I've heard of her. So this song was fantastic. She straight up sounded like she came straight out the 90s R&B and hip hop, like right next to like Alicia Keys, Ashanti, Aaliyah. Like she sounds like she's from that cloth, you know, like she's that type of breed. So that song was fantastic. I think she killed it. I don't know. I don't know why I've been sleeping on her so crazy. Maybe I'll have to check out some of her stuff. But yeah, Ari Lennox, man, the voice was wild. And I swear, she literally just seems like, you can tell she just grew up on that and only that, and that's just, and it doesn't sound like she's biting off that style. It just sounds like she's another prominent figure from that era. It's really dope. So shout out to Ari Lennox, amazing artist from what I've heard so far, and she's in, or at least a part of Dreamville. So obviously they see something in her, so she's got to be goated for that. Next on the playlist was Kiss of Life by Sade. And let me tell you what, I have a couple Sade songs. If you've heard the song Smooth Operator, a lot of you guys maybe remember that meme from like 3 to 4 years ago where Smooth Operator was playing in an arena. LeBron was dancing and singing to it, and that made me look up the song, and the song was really dope. So I added that song. And then what were some other ones? I had Smooth Operator, Sweetest Taboo, and No Ordinary Love. She makes some really like, you know, her voice is fantastic off top, but like a lot of her beats are just kind of like quiet and like melodic, but like enough like bass and like kick and whatnot, where you're just like, you know, and she just sings on it and you're like, sheesh. This song was absolutely no different. I think if you had the chance, you want to listen to some more female like R&B that's just good to listen to, I would say listen to some of Sade. Kiss of Life was the song that I just found from this playlist. But yeah, definitely check out Smooth Operator, Sweetest Taboo, No Ordinary Love, Nothing But Fire. Loved it to death. It was dope. And now I kind of feel like I have to go through some of her stuff as well, because everything I've heard by her has been nothing but a banger. So shout out Sade. Keep going on what you're doing. I mean, I don't think she still makes music. I don't know anything about Sade. I don't know if she's alive or not, or if she keeps making music, or who maybe she had a ghostwriter, but I don't know anything about Sade. All I know is every song that I've heard that has her name by her, fire. So, whatever. Fight me in the comments if it's like, well, whatever. Anyway. Sorry. Next song is Fragile by Benjamin Carter featuring Appleby, I'm assuming, which that is a stupid name, by the way, just because, whatever. It was a cool little hip-hop and R&B song, but isn't something I'd have in a constant rotation or anything. Definitely solid. Could see it being a nice song to have a relaxing sunset drive-in. That's the notes I wrote for the song. I don't remember much of what it sounds like. I only listened to it once in like I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was just like, this is cool. This is kind of good background noise music. This isn't a song I would seek out. Like, all right, time to listen to some music. Where's Fragile by Benjamin Carter? I wouldn't put it on like that. But if I was just chilling, driving, and I don't know, maybe I forgot I put it in my playlist and it was in rotation. I was just chilling. It's really good background noise, but definitely gave me like a sunset drive, like feeling and vibe and whatnot. So, not much to say about that. Next song, Gun Showers by Bad Bad Not Good and Ghostface Killah featuring LZ, I believe. Um, that was another, like, just cool little song. Nothing too crazy. Nothing bad, but nothing stand out or like, oh my god, how have I not heard this before? Add this to my playlist. But the one thing I will say about the song is the moment I hear Ghostface on any song, such an iconic and unique voice, and the way he raps stuff, like it's not even some crazy bars. It's just the way he spits a lot of the time. It's fantastic. So it already got some bonus points just for having Ghostface on it. I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was dope. And Ghostface is always lit. But like I said, just a cool little song. Not gonna go back to it or anything, but I appreciate you trying to show me some new hip hop I haven't heard before. Like so far, none of these songs I've heard before. Today was when I listened to it. So shout out for that. Next, she sent me Make Your Mind Up by Souls of Mischief. If you don't know who Souls of Mischief is, they are the dudes who did the 93 Till Infinity, which is one of the most classic songs, or at least beats. Maybe the song not as much, but the instrumental is just amazing and dope. It especially got really popularized again. If you remember the J. Cole LA Leakers freestyle before he dropped Off Season, it was the first instrumental that he rapped to, where he was, rest assured, the best is here in the flesh, and that's for sure. That whole little freestyle, that was the instrumental till 93, till Infinity, that is by Souls of Mischief. So when I saw that she sent me what would be my second song hearing from them, I was pretty excited, and it did not disappoint me at all. It was very surprisingly solid and good, and I did end up adding it to my hip hop playlist. I have one playlist where every time I find some rap song that is amazing, I add it to that, and it's literally like over 200 songs of just fire, nothing but heat. And I did end up adding it to that. You can tell it's kind of similar to 93 Till Infinity, where it's dope like bass and just I don't know, just a good feeling and a good I don't really know what else I want to say. It's a really good song. I believe they're also from Oakland, so shout out Bay Area, local. So if you haven't checked out Souls of Mischief, check out 93 Till Infinity and Make Your Mind Up, because that's fire, and I'll probably have to go through their discography as well. So shout out. Next song was The Enemy by Big L featuring Fat Joe. I never really got into Big L, but I know he's like a legend in the rap game, in the rap scene, I'd say. I believe he's 90s, maybe early 2000s. But it was cool. His delivery and bars don't strike me the way like Kendrick and hearing Outkast for the first time did, where I was like immediately gravitated towards it. But you could tell he could definitely rap. There's a reason. I could see why people would really like his stuff. And Fat Joe's pretty cool. I think the best part about Fat Joe is how New York he sounds. Like Nicki Minaj she's cool, but the best part about her is she sounds so New York when she talk, like that kind of thing where she gets that accent. To me, that's the best part about Fat Joe is he just sounds so like it sounds like he was spitting a verse right outside on the streets of New York in his big puffy jacket, where every time he speaks, you see the cold breath coming out. There's a bunch of dudes huddled around, and he's just kind of flowing, But he doesn't ever have crazy bars or like, oh my God, he's so prolific the way he puts things together, He's just a well-known rapper. I guess a legend in his own right, but especially when you compare him to other New York greats such as Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, Wu-Tang, and I could go on and on and on. The New York has the greatest rappers, in my opinion. West Coast is very close, but even though I'm from the West, I like the more hardcore rap of the East Side, especially New York, over the very vibe and like just I don't know, energy and feeling of West Coast. I feel like West Coast knows the vibe more. You know, you got like Nate Dogg, the way he be singing on the voice. You got Snoop Dogg, the way he just be flowing all smooth like. And of course, you got NWA and a bunch of other legendary rappers, E40 and such. But Tupac, but you know, East Side, that Big Pun, that Notorious B.I.G., that Wu Tang, where they just, I just love that hardcore rap stuff. But it was cool. It's a cool little song. I don't know if Big L's from East or not, but you know, he's cool. And then the next song she sent me is also by Big L, called "Put It On." "Put It On." That's the only song I know from him. I already had it in my hip hop playlist. Very familiar. It's pretty cool though. The beat, and I believe it's a xylophone that he uses in the beat, is very stand out to me. But it just sounds like some very good '90s hip hop. I won't call it generic or like copy and paste. It's just it fits right in that kind of feeling and that vibe. So you know, it's just a good song. I enjoy it. Every time I hear it, it's pretty good background noise. Another really standout thing he does, especially in that song, is randomly he'll have lines where like he'll be talking like this and he'll be rapping like this and then he'll be rapping when he be talking and he's killing it like this and then he's and then he's doing it like this. You know, like he'll like start saying something hecka fast, but sorry, my throat's freaking dry. He does it tastefully. He doesn't just. There are some rappers who will be like rapping and then like they'll have one line left and they'll look at their lyrics and they realize they have all the stuff to say. They'll be like, the itsy bitsy spider crawled up the water spout. Down comes the rain and washed the spider up because then they had to die. Up came the sun and you know, it's not like that because you can tell they just ran out of time. They're like, quickly, we'll say it real quick. Okay, there we go, got it out. Now I can keep going. He does it tastefully and very good, and it almost adds to it because it kind of sounds like chopping, which is like what Twista and like Busta Rhymes does. You know, when they do like when people are like, oh my god, they just rap fast. No, they chop, or like Bone Thugs chop. So, you know, it's like a little bit of, it's like chop light. You know, so it's pretty good. It works out very well. I enjoyed it a lot. And then the last song she sent me was a song called "Music" by Eric Sermon featuring Marvin Gaye. The only reason it says featuring Marvin Gaye is because they use the heck out of the sample. I don't even know the name of the song. I'm assuming the song's called "Music" or whatever by Marvin Gaye, because the amount of times he says the word music is used just from the sample and whatnot alone is crazy. I've never heard Eric Sermon. I've heard his name spoken. I think it was 8 Mile. Like Eminem said something like, "You sound like Eric Sermon," the generic version. I think it was 8 Mile, but I know Eminem definitely. That's the only time I've ever heard Eric Sermon's name be said, at least that I can remember. So I was like, okay, Eric Sermon, let me hear. And when Eminem said Eric Sermon, the generic version, this is the definition of generic rap. Like, this is just the most, like, well, he's rapping, I guess. Like, no bars stood out, no, like, crazy writing, very few words for each, like, you know, for each verse. It was very short, and then the second half of the song is just cutting up the sample and cutting up the song that they use from Marvin Gaye, which Marvin Gaye carries the freaking heck out of the song. That's probably the only redeeming feature is Marvin Gaye singing on it. And it's not like Marvin Gaye recorded it live with Eric Sermon and, you know, they made a song together. It's like you could tell Marvin Gaye made the song and Eric Sermon just used it to get people to listen to it. But all it really did was make me want to hear a full Marvin Gaye song and somebody mix it with some other like hip hop beat. Like lately there's been some rock song in Big Papa, the instrumental for Big Papa, mixed with some like I only write tragedies, not miracles, or something like that song. I don't know, something like that. That's been floating around TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. I want to hear a Marvin Gaye singing a song with some dope freaking hip hop instrumental. That's all it left me with. I have no want to listen to Eric Sermon at all. This is, like I said, the most generic rap. Anybody could have rapped the way he did in this, so took away from it a lot. But overall, I'll give the playlist another 8.5. The Dawn's playlist from last week was 8.5. This one is also going to be an 8.5. Not bad by any means, but the reason it's this high is because there's a lot of songs I haven't heard before that ended up being straight bangers. But then when I look at the songs such as The Eric Sermon one took it down a little hard. And then The Enemy, Gun Showers, and Fragile. Those were just kind of like decent songs. So I couldn't justify giving it a 9 because a 9 would be like pure, like nothing but bangers that are like good and flow well. And to get a 10, if you want to, because you could be the person who could send me the first 10 out of 10, the first 10 song playlist that I've had so far. The criteria for getting a 10 is you have to have at least half of it has to be stuff I haven't heard before that is like amazing. There has to be songs maybe I haven't heard in a while that'll give me some type of nostalgia, or maybe it'll just be like, dude, I need to listen to this on repeat. And it has to be nothing but heat and bangers, but it also has to go together well. That's what makes it 10. If you send me just a collection of your 10 favorite songs and all of them are classics, let's say all of them are songs I haven't heard before, they're amazing, I have it on repeat, but it's like their energy and their like vibe they don't string together, you'll just end up getting a 9, maybe a 9.5. But if you need a 10, it's got to be it's got to flow together. I think Marianne, which is the name of my girlfriend, is the best at making a playlist where it seems like the songs are very thoughtfully chosen. I've seen her make a playlist. She literally will take like 3 hours putting 10 songs together. But she is a genius, and she has like a knack for liking the way a song stops and then the way the next song picks up. She loves listening to certain songs, one right after the other. So she has a dope ear for music. So babe, you did fantastic. I think you have the potential to make a 10. I think the Don maybe has the potential to make a 10, but he also has a lot of different tastes over stuff that I like that he doesn't. So he kind of shows me music that I'm not as into at first, but kind of get into myself. So if you want to be the next person to send me what could possibly be the first 10 out of 10, I'll even say this: the first person that can send me a 10 out of 10 playlist, I will send you $20. I'll Venmo you $20 off top for just making me an amazing 10-song playlist. But that's the challenge, and the only way you're going to do it is first you got to follow me on Instagram. But then when I put out the call for your playlist on my story, you got to respond to the story. If I end up picking you, because I pick people randomly who respond to the story, if you end up being the one picked and you send me the playlist, you have a chance at being a 10 out of 10. You'll get $20. Easy peasy. So I'll see you guys in the next podcast. I appreciate you guys for listening to me talk for the last hour. I really, really appreciate and love you guys so much. Please stay safe. Keep working hard. Keep pushing yourself this week. It's Friday. For a lot of us, it's payday. Then we got the weekend. But once Monday rolls around or whatever, hit the ground running. Don't make Monday be the first day that you hate. Make it be the first day you're excited, because it's time to make that money. I love you guys, and it's been nothing but love. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Blah.